Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for kicking off the fourth day of the 2021 Buyer Insights and Intelligence series with us today. My name is Kelly Lindenau, and I'm the Managing Editor of Demand Gen Report. I'll be your moderator for today's session, Accelerating the Buyer's Journey with Personalization at Scale, featuring Sean Crawley. I'm so excited that everyone joined us today. Throughout this presentation, we'll walk through how to harness intent to deliver personalized messaging to target accounts through the creation of a common framework and empowering SDRs and sellers with insights for more targeted outreach. I know that everyone's super excited to get the presentation, but I just have a few housekeeping slides to go through first. So if you're not familiar with Demand Gen Report, I'll get you up to speed. We're an online media company that publishes daily news featuring the hottest trends, special reports, original research, and various other resources. To ensure you don't miss any of the goodies we upload throughout the week, make sure to sign up for our weekly email newsletter. 75,000 of your colleagues have signed up, so make sure to join them. You can sign up at demandgenreport.com. We're also big fans of social media, and we love interacting with everyone. So make sure to follow along with the event on Twitter before and after today's event using the hashtag BII21. Don't forget to tag us as you share your thoughts, feedback, and takeaways from the event. We've put all our links and handles right there on your screen. And now I'm so excited. It's the moment we've all been waiting for, the return of in-person events. Our B2B Sales and Marketing Exchange will take place live in person in Boston this August. I hope you all join us because I'm just so excited to meet everyone and see everyone face to face. And of course, you want to make sure you stay in the loop. So make sure you sign up for updates on the B2B SMX website. It's simply b2bsalesmarketing.exchange. And now, it wouldn't be a Demand Gen Report event without a partnership with our friends at Grubhub. We know there's nothing better than enjoying a good meal while learning new information, so we're offering a few lucky attendees free lunch throughout the session. Make sure to keep an eye on your inbox to see if you snagged a free lunch credit. We're conducting our session today on the On24 platform, so I'd just like to run everyone through the basics of the platform. If you've already attended a few sessions, let's see if you can say this with me. We provided all the information you need throughout the session in the toolbar you see on your screen. The webinar itself will last about 25 to 35 minutes and will reserve about 10 to 15 minutes at the end for a Q&A. This is an interactive session, so make sure to drop any questions you have for Sean in the Q&A widget. You can find it right at the top corner of your screen, and you can submit your questions at any time. Given the time constraints, I can't promise everyone's questions will be answered live, but don't worry, we won't leave you hanging. Any questions we don't get to will be answered via email. And of course, there's still plenty of other sessions in store for this series. You can access the other BII sessions right under the Q&A widget. We also provided additional resources for you, so make sure to check them out on the bottom right of your screen. Today's session is being recorded, so you can put down the pens and pencils and enjoy the presentation. We'll share the archived link to the presentation with you at the session's conclusion for you to review and/or share with your colleagues. And you know, we create all of our events for you, and we love to hear how we're doing so we can keep tailoring our events to your preferences. At this session's conclusion, you'll see a brief survey pop up on your screen automatically. Or if you can't wait to tell us how much you love Sean's presentation and the event in general, you can pull up, complete, and submit the survey at any time. You can find the survey icon circled here on your screen. Now, I'd love to introduce our featured speaker for today, Sean Crawley. Sean Crawley is the Vice President of Portfolio Marketing for Dun & Bradstreet, responsible for development and execution of go-to-market strategy for the sales and marketing line of business. He sits at the nexus of content, inbound, outbound, website, and sales enablement activities geared toward driving revenue growth. His experience with customers of varying sizes across all major industries has confirmed for him that business growth is tied to the strategic use of data and analytics, and that the continuous cultivation of good data helps accelerate the path from prospect to profitable customer. Now, without further ado, I'll let Sean take it away.
Thanks, Kelly. Really a pleasure to be here, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're listening, as we are in a virtual world here. The situation that we all find ourselves in here today is drastically different than when it was just 18 months ago. And I think that we all understand and consider the impact that most of us and businesses have gone through and the massive amount of digital transformation that has been compressed into a very, very short time frame. when you consider the impact of that, it's quite considerable. Whereas, some vendors, some industries may have been lagging behind digital transformation and adoption of digital marketing and go-to-market strategies. That all had to change at the drop of a hat, really, when the pandemic struck us all. So it has impacted sales, marketing, customer support, product development, releases, all around the business. And when you think about how that's impacted us as businesses, it's also dramatically changed us as consumers. And when you think about how people who make business decisions in their day-to-day lives, their buying behavior and their buyers' expectations have been influenced by how and how they consume as a consumer. So you'll see this. We've seen this blending, and what we've really found is that people who make decisions are looking for personalized experiences. They're looking for vendors to find out who really understands them. And so I'd like to propose to you just to listen to this call today and think about how you're approaching your intended audience, your buyers, and how are you interacting with them where they are in the buyer's journey. Can you understand where they are in the buyer's journey? And what are you doing to connect with them at a level that makes them feel comfortable that you understand who they are and what their needs are, and views you as a strategic vendor, as someone that can be a strategic partner to their business and not just a vendor. So at the end of this presentation, I hope that you'll come away with some ideas, and the benefits of those ideas for your business could be an accelerated path to growth, higher conversion rates, and ideally a faster path from prospect to profitable customers. So, as I alluded to earlier, or just now, was that the consumerization of the buying behaviors of business decision makers is real. And you can see some of these statistics right now. And it really is that movement of, at the end of the day, we're all people and we all want to buy based off of, or buy from people or vendors that make us comfortable, and that we feel that understands us. And now, with all this massive digital transformation that has taken place, buyers really have so much more control over the information that they can consume, and they're self-servicing themselves with that information to really, understand what's the problem that they're trying to solve, what are the potential solutions out there, and who are the vendors that potentially have solutions. A lot of that work has been done before most people reach out to a salesperson or take a sales call. And I think that so much of their early impressions are based off of the content that they consume with you, the messages that you put out there, and how consistent you are at putting offers and information in front of them. And the other thing that kind of that impacts that is that as people are consuming all this information, when it's personalized and it's aligned to where they are, it actually introduces this, almost an inverse relationship where it may take fewer touches to convince that person that you're a viable solution. So your costs can go down as well. And then obviously those organizations that are utilizing personalization, it shows tremendous benefit to their business. Now, when you think about personalization, there's a lot of different ways that we can do it. And marketing automation platforms have been around for a long time, and they have personalized, you can drop in personalized snippets into an email. You can use dynamic content blocks on your web pages. And with the introduction of, or really the emergence of the popularity of account-based marketing, that allows you to hone in focus on specific companies. But there's kind of a trade-off here that happens in terms of the number of accounts or targets or prospects that you want to reach with your message. As that number increases, as the scale goes up, it makes it harder and harder to actually execute against some personalization strategies. And then conversely, as you focus more and more on specific accounts, that gives you the ability, that gives you the insight, it gives you the data to really get into hyper-personalization. But it comes at a trade-off for how much work it actually takes to execute on that. And so when you look at account-based marketing strategies, most of the thought leaders in the space and people who are executing on it will typically tier out their account-based marketing strategy for really kind of core ABM, which is hyper-personalization in nearly every interaction, or pieces of content built for specific companies, right? You're typically only going to do that between 1 and 25 accounts, maybe 50 accounts if you've got some resources that can help for that. But then as you move up the chain, you say, all right, I want to target 100 of these accounts, or 500, or 1,000 of these accounts, but still employ some personalization routines. You're going to have to make some trade-offs in terms of the level and detail of the personalization. Try to hit them at scale. And as you can see here, right, there's that account specific. You can go after, that's still personalized by industry. So keying in on those key industry trends that are going on and tapping into that. The second is, and then the third is using intent, understanding what people are looking at, what actions are they taking, what interest are they showing out there, not only on third-party websites, but also on your own website, to be able to craft messages, offers, or messaging, that really aligns to where they potentially are. And then obviously you've got your generic approaches as well. So I'm going to spend most of my time today talking about this generic plus intent. So using content and offerings that are activated with the buyer's experience in mind. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I mean by that. So when you think about intent, there's multiple kinds of intent signals that you can get, from low intent to high intent. And a lot of the intent that comes in is really based off of the digital behavior, the buying behavior that we're seeing, or someone is seeing on the website. So, from a low intent perspective, you can look at, okay, who's actively out there, looking within specific topical areas, right? So third-party intent is typically that bottom foundational element of intent. It's what's going on out there on the web. It uses third-party cookies traditionally, and to understand what websites people are going to, what are they looking at, and how often are they reaching out or visiting those sites. Those are compiled by various vendors. Dun & Bradstreet has the capability to capture that information and present it to you so you can activate against it. Many people have probably heard about Google doing away with third-party cookies, so that's an added challenge. They've kicked the can down the road about 2 years on that, but vendors need to be thinking about how are they going to operate, when those third-party cookies aren't necessarily there. What that does is it does, increase the importance of collecting and utilizing that first-party data, that first-party intent from customers that are visiting your website or interacting with your marketing channels directly. And so that can involve cookies of coming to your website. It can be hit on or identified through the anonymous traffic that's coming to your website. If it's a first-time visitor who's never filled out a form on your website, they'll come in typically as an IP address. B&B, again, has the capability to unmask that anonymous traffic and match an IP address to a domain name. So at the very least, you can understand what companies are coming to your website. It can be used as a way to validate, your advertising strategy. Are you driving the right traffic? But most importantly, is what accounts are showing interest with my solutions. Obviously, once they land on the account, the ability to take that information and personalize that experience on the website, identifying or if they've been there before, knowing what industry they may be in, you can present certain messages, certain images, things that will help influence their experience on the website. And then obviously, as they choose to engage with the offers that you present to them on your website, they may fill out a form, they may give you their email address if they find it valuable. Obviously, that's the objective here. And then once you've got that email address, then you can start interacting with them by email. And that presents another host of personalization opportunities. But so much of it really boils down to how are you effectively utilizing your website to maximize that first interaction and then use that as a way to launch into a personalized buying journey with that vendor or with that customer prospect. So when you think about intent, and really intent is just, as I said, those signals that are coming in, but you can break it down across 3 different categories as well. There's, there's topic-based intent. So they're just searching on topics. It's specific to companies and the domains that a person is searching for. It's also typically the broadest source of that site. So you're really talking high level, top of the funnel kind of searching techniques. But then as people start to hone in on specific vendors, on solutions to the problems that they're having, they'll narrow the aperture of their search and they'll go after research-based intent, right? So being, on select articles that they're looking at, so in Dun & Bradstreet breaks down our buyer intent models by looking at, just as I said, those topic-based intents, who's searching on certain keywords, but then we also use natural language processing and machine learning to dig into the content that they've consumed and make a determination, is this thought leadership content, so maybe top of the funnel content, or is it more speeds and feeds related, kind of feature function benefit, product related content? So maybe someone who's a little bit further on down the line of their buying decision, really looking at what are the benefits of this product, what are the specific nuances of one solution versus the next. So you can approximate that they're further down the buying journey as a result of this. So we typically look at this across a couple of axes in terms of how often are they searching on a term or engaging with a specific set of terms, showing intent in that topical area, but then also where are they in the buyer's journey, the level of content. So are they further along in the buyer's journey? And that can help to determine what type of resources you want to apply to that lead or to that account that's showing an intent. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then thirdly, there's personalized intent. So, specific to that company and the actions that they're doing, what are the keywords that they're using? What are, that they've been searching on, where are they geographically, right, in the world, within the host of hierarchy within that account? Because an account can have multiple subsidiaries. It can have its headquarter locations. It can have branch locations. Is the person who's doing these searches and showing these intents, are they in a branch office or are they potentially in a decision-making headquarters? That can certainly, again, determine how much resources you want to deploy against that. And this really goes to kind of based on the fit to the criteria that you use to determine what is a valid prospect or not. So based off of the intent, and what we do here at Dun & Bradstreet is we use this quite a bit. We come up with our initial segmentation based off of fit to our propensity models. Do they have a likelihood to buy? We look at accounts that have low risk associated with their accounts, whether it be from a credit perspective or minimized impacts from COVID-19. We have COVID-19 risk indicators that we calculate. And then thirdly, fit intent and fit risk and intent, and where are they within this intent? And so, what you're seeing here is when you use intent, if someone isn't showing any intent signals, we consider them not in market, right? They're not they're not triggering keywords or showing any indication that they're visiting sites or consuming content that's related to any of the solutions that I'm interested in projecting or proposing to them. The next is in market. So that's using those initial intent signals, like we're seeing them search on content. And then anonymously engaged. Have they come to our website, right? Have I been effective at recognizing that this account is showing intent? Have I put digital display ads in front of them? Have I tried to engage with them through a variety of channels, LinkedIn, or other avenues that third-party syndication? And then have I gotten them to my website? So. And then finally, are they known and engaged? Have they filled out a form? And what you're seeing here is that we'll match content at varying stages to this journey, whether it be brand building and thought leadership up front to make people aware of the fact that Dun & Bradstreet has these offerings. And then as we start to see them progress and in the intent signals and the digital body language starts to take a clearer shape to us because of how they're engaging with our content, because of what they've done when they've come to our website, we start to then put other types of content in front of them to help them feel confident that we are a vendor that can solve the problems that they have, and we can help them grow their business faster. So I'll give you a couple of examples of how we employ this, but it really does start with that initial segmentation against fit, intent, and risk to determine which path do I want to drive people down. And a lot of this starts with account-based advertising. And doing this at scale really requires, again, doing that modeling, understanding where they might be in the buying journey, and then using that as a way to actually match the right offer to that account or that prospect. And what you'll see here is, think back to that model that I showed, where they fit within the engagement model, what level of intent that they're showing. These are screenshots actually from our RevUp ABX platform. So all of this intent signals that are fed into the core of our CDP, or our customer data platform, which is the underpinning of this RevUp ABX platform, which enables customers to kind of activate ads against specific audiences and engage and progress them and create personalized buying experiences in multi-channel or omni-channel campaigns. Starting here programmatic, we'll determine this is an account that is in market for a solution, and based off of what intent they're showing, for this one, if you look at the top pathway here, it shows that they're showing interest in malware, right? So the GlobeNet ad that you would want to put in front of them is related to malware. If in the bottom segment, they're showing that they have an intent for Beacon Technologies, right? So you present that offer to them based off of what they're doing. So you take the signals that you're seeing in the marketplace, determine which offer you want to put in front of them, and get that in front of them as quickly as possible. Another opportunity to take this is, so that's just basic programmatic advertising. Now, how about making your advertising more efficient? How about spending more wisely? So as someone is, again, on the top path, this is someone who's engaged, showing intent. You know what? You might be willing to spend a little bit more on your bidding strategy to get that ad in front of those accounts, because you know that they're looking, and you know that if they come to your website first, if you're first in the door, you have a higher likelihood of winning that account. Now, in the bottom example, these are people who are not in market, right? And they're both showing the same potential for the business, but one's in market and one's not. If they're not in market, maybe I'm going to bid a little bit lower, save some money for those people that I know are in market, and I want to kind of progress as quickly as possible. And then thirdly, to take this one step further, is allocate retargeting budget based off of that level of intent that you get. So again, you look at, are they further down in their approach? Obviously with retargeting, you have to get them to your website first. So these strategies build on one another, right? So it's put the right offer in front of them, get them to come to your website. Once they're there, use some strategies to get them to convert, and then you tag them and you can retarget them on the back end. One of our customers, a large enterprise hardware solutions company, when they deployed RevUp ABX in the strategy, they saw their cost per engagement drop almost. That's just such a substantial number. I love that. And they increased the number of ads being viewed by the target accounts, and that right there is a recipe or an equation for having a very successful top of the funnel strategy that enables you to reach more of the right people, convert them faster, and get them into the funnel. Okay, so we talked about programmatic advertising. That's all about leveraging third-party data, see what's going on in the market. You got to get them to your website, right? You got to get them to convert. We recently held an event at the beginning of June where Ryan Dice, who is the founder of digitalmarketer.com, spoke on day 2 of that, and he talked about the importance of email in today's marketing strategies. Even with all of this digital transformation that's going on, email is still a critical component for having a conversation, for engaging with customers that are willing to give you their email. And you have to trust that. You have to curate that, and you have to really aspire to having the belief that I am going to curate content for my prospects and my customers that they're going to find valuable and relevant to what they do, and ultimately inspires them to take action with you, to come into partnership with you. And because that's what this is all about. It's about finding new partnerships, building new business, building a brand that people want to do business with. And email is an obvious way, that you can move from just, batch and blast, spammy type emails to actual contextual engagement that proves and makes people feel like they really get me. You get that warm and fuzzy feeling. And sometimes on the personal side, like you just love those brands that, they deliver that content. It seems at the right moment. That's what B2B marketers are trying to do as well. A little bit harder, right? Because you're talking about the business, but ultimately it is about inspiring people. It's about giving them the confidence that you actually have solutions for them. Again, think about this as a continuum of not in the market to in market, anonymous engaged, known engaged, and then the next step there is close for business, turn them into a customer. But again, it comes back to you can't just spray and pray anymore. You have to think about every communication point, every offer that you put in front of people, because all that, if you think back to when I was talking about all this digital transformation that took place in the market, that means that all those laggards that weren't doing digital marketing are now doing digital marketing. So the marketplace is much more crowded, and you have to break through all of that noise that's out there. And you do that by being relevant, by being contextual, and by showing people that you understand what their needs are and that you can solve for their challenges. So, some examples here are, strategies of the types of email tone, offers that you would want to put in front of them based off of where they might be. And again, think about where they are in the buyer's journey. What questions are they asking themselves? If it's early in the buying journey, they're like, how does someone solve for this problem? What are some of the issues that can result for having problems like this? If they're further down the funnel, they're asking themselves, how does this vendor compare to that vendor? What case studies have I seen? How hard is this going to be to implement? And so you got to match the content that you put in front of them so they have that confidence. They're like, yeah, okay, I get it. Yep, this solves my problem. I can now move to the next stage in my buyer's. When we do this, right, and we have deployed this a number of times across programs and campaigns, some of which started at the beginning of this year, right, when we launched beginning of 2020, when we launched our buyer intent data. We saw, when we started using these personalization routines, we saw a 300% increase in open rates from people because we were targeting them based off of what we had seen and we were seen as being more relevant. And we saw a 10x increase in the engagement within those emails that were sent. So already with that, we saw some huge gains that helps fill the funnel. And then it's about progression after that. How can I maintain that consistency of experience and prove to them that we are, a valid solution provider that wants to partner with them for success? And I touched on this a little bit as well, right? Personalized web experiences. And depending on, are you using a marketing automation platform to create personalized web pages, landing pages, or are you doing this on your website? I mentioned that, we have the ability to de-anonymize that web traffic. It's a capability that, internally we call visitor intelligence. And, once you can match and identify the account that's come to your website, it opens up a whole host of opportunities to personalize around that. Because with the account name comes all this firmographic data. How big are they? What's their revenue like? What industry are they in? How many employees do they have? Etc. And that just gives you more fuel to actually, to put personalization routines on your website. So a couple of the strategies that we've done and we've seen our customers use is if you can match to, if you know the account who's hit your website, you know the industry, put images that are relevant to that industry. Put specific message content blocks on your pages that talk about popular use cases within that industry, popular challenges that you can help solve for within that industry. Because when you do that, you see 80% of the companies report seeing an uplift by implementing web personalization, and it can reduce customer acquisition costs by 50%. Again, if you can prove quicker than your competition that you have solutions that can be, beneficial to that person or that business, you don't have to spend as much time advertising to that company because you can convert them faster. You can drive the overall cost structure of your business down much faster. Again, when you think about the types of content that you want to use, right? Understanding if someone is in market, the customized content and the CTAs based on their interests, right? If they're anonymously engaged, use chatbots, right? And personalize the CTAs there. If they've hit a specific page on your website, they're interested in something around that topic. You can create decision trees within Drift, for example, to have those conversations and really drive that. If you know the account as well, you can drop their account name into those chatbots as well. So it's a really great way to kind of facilitate that live conversation with them, and then maybe even transfer that from a bot to a live rep as well. And then those known engaged, right, retargeting with offers and CTAs based off of what they did on your website as well. Using some of these website personalization routines, right? This enterprise IT solutions company saw a 25% increase in conversions in their cross-sell and upsell offers, and a 20% increase in the inquiries and trials that they got from that, utilizing those different techniques. So it really does pay to pay attention to who's hitting your site and to use these routines in that way. And then finally, right, if you think about once these leads come in, right, so I've been talking about how do I attract, how do I engage with these accounts? Well, once they've converted, right, once they've hit your website and they're showing these first-party intent signals, maybe they filled out a web form, maybe they've taken advantage of some of these CTAs, these leads got to go somewhere, right? And rather than just kind of drop off a bunch of leads to your sales and SDR teams, you got to make sure that they're equipped to kind of keep that personalized experience going, right? They have to understand who they're getting, right? So let's just say this is a list of leads that an SDR is going to get. This is a screenshot of our of the buying signals capability of RevUp ABX. So you'll see on the right side here, Lattice is the CDP underpinnings of the RevUp ABX platform. It ranks them A, B, C, right, based off of what they've seen. So what does that mean? I could get a list of 10 leads and 12 leads here. Which one do I follow up on first? Okay, well, I see these A's. I would probably want to go there, but why are they an A? Well, what the buyer insight does is it actually gives you a reason why they were ranked as an A. So maybe a little hard to see. You see the A category up here. Well, they're existing customer of product A. They've done keyword searches based on the company brand, on the software. They've got some competitive tech that we've detected that's on their website and that they're using from our technographics data, and they're showing that they're a company that's in growth mode. So when you factor all these things in, that really helps that seller or that SDR have a much warmer conversation from the get-go. They can thank them for their business. They can say, hey, thought you might be interested in solutions around these keywords that we're talking about here. And these things go really well as opposed to some of these other vendors, and you can drop them underneath like that. It really just makes for a much easier conversation. When we employ these techniques in some of the outreach sequences that we create, we see a 37% increase in open rates. When we can match those use cases and drop the prospects into those into a matching sequence, based off of what that customer has done or actions that they've taken on our website. So I know I've given a lot of information here, but I think that there's a couple of ways that most organizations can kind of get started. You think of it as a crawl, walk, run approach here, right? So the first step is map your ideal journey, right, based off of engagement levels. What's the path that you want your customers to go through? Understand, okay, that's the path I want to go to. Here are the offers that I have available. Match those ad offerings to the different interests that they have. If you've got multiple products, this is definitely something that you have to think about. You've got to understand the differences between those two. Secondly, so that's top of the funnel, right? How do we get the right traffic to our site? Second, walk. Unmask those anonymous web visitors, right? Understand who's coming to your website, and then personalize based off of what you've uncovered, the information of who's coming to your website, what industries are they in, what third-party signals have I seen, what first-party signals have I seen, what have they done on the website in the last time. Leverage that, recirculate, and bring that intelligence and insight back from the data and activate it in a way that people have much more personalized and consistent buying experiences, regardless of the channel that they engage with you at. And that's how you start getting to that run category of really personalization through web experiences in an omni-channel way, so that you're targeting them with consistent offers, whether it be through programmatic advertising, through paid social advertising, through your email, through your SDRs, and through your direct outreach from your sellers as well. This combination of activities across multiple channels can be a very, very powerful combination to translate prospects into customers. And just to kind of wrap up here, I've talked about our solutions in a variety of different touch points along the way. This is Dun & Bradstreet's kind of sales and marketing portfolio, specifically around sales and marketing solutions. We have data management solutions that help keep your data clean, complete, and actionable. But since we're talking about intent, this is really about reaching and engaging buyers more effectively. On the right-hand side, you'll see this D&B Rev Up. That's the platform that I've been talking about, and it gives customers the flexibility to deploy based off of what their specific needs may be. All of it is underpinned by a customer data platform, but you can choose to activate just ads or just email or just the sales channel or your website as well. So that visitor intelligence, that's within that Rev Up ABX for web. Or if you're looking to do and growing into an omni-channel experience, you can deploy across all of these. And you've got a consistent foundational layer that enables you to ensure that you're capturing all that engagement data, you're consolidating in a single place, and then you're activating insights based off of that information that you're gathering. All of this, of course, is underpinned by the D&B Data Cloud, which has information on over 400 million businesses globally, paired with 100 million business contacts worldwide, as well as digital buying digital identifiers, whether that be device IDs, IP addresses, numbering over 4 billion device IDs and digital indicators. So a really powerful platform to activate these types of strategies based off of where your primary need is. And just if you're getting going, you want to get a sense of who's in market, right? We can provide we have an offering. It's a free intent reach report. You can give us a couple of your keywords. We'll put together a model for you and show you what accounts are in market looking for those types of that type of solution set. So very powerful offering. Anybody on this call is certainly welcome to. You can contact us. I would imagine people will be reaching out as well. But just a really great way to get some insights into who's in market and what you're trying to. And hopefully we can help you reach those guys and engage with them with greater relevance with that. So with that, I think we'll open it up to some questions, Kelly. I want to thank everybody for taking the time here today. And do we have any questions that have come through?
Yes, we do. First of all, that was wonderful. Great job. Thank you so much, Sean. And yes, I'm seeing some really good questions coming in. But before we get to that, I just have one last reminder for all the attendees to please fill out our quick questionnaire before moving on to the next session today. And again, all you have to do for that is to click the survey icon circled on the bottom of your screen, or just wait for the survey to launch automatically when we wrap things up here. So now we can get on to the questions. So the first question I will grab for you is, if I'm just getting started, what channel should I prioritize first?
That's a great question. I would say your ads, right? You wanna get the right people coming to your site. You want to understand if someone's in market looking for solutions that you offer. You want to get in front of them as quickly as possible. So I would use intent to prioritize your programmatic advertising to drive the right traffic to your site. You can then automatically retarget those people who do land on your website. It gives you another opportunity, and then progress from there. Use those signals, and then obviously I would say that maybe the next one to look at is how do I personalize the web? So if I'm driving the right traffic to my site, how do I ensure that I'm maximizing the opportunity to convert these people more efficiently and more effectively? Personalization is a proven technique to do that.
Okay, awesome. And then let's see what else we have coming in here. So, okay, here's a good one. So what technology do I need at the minimum to start automating this process and making it scalable?
Well, so I did talk about the D&B RevUp ABX platform. That is the capability I would recommend. It gives you the flexibility, as I said, to prioritize ad personalization first, leverage intent signals, activate those signals immediately. The beauty of the RevUp ABX platform and its underpinning of having a common CDP layer across it is allows you to ingest all of these digital signals, make sense of it, and then activate any new intent, any new accounts that are showing intent. You can automatically drop them into an ad campaign. It's in real time. And then it gives you the flexibility to expand into those other channels that you're looking to utilize in your go-to-market or campaign strategy. So it gives you the flexibility to start small and scale from there.
Okay, beautiful. And then we are coming up on time, so I'm going to just grab one more question here. So let's go with, how can I apply the framework you just went over to existing customers?
Great question. Obviously, existing customers tend to be a target. When you think of an account-based marketing strategy, it can be about customer retention. It can be about increasing cross-sell and upsell potential within the business, and you can also use it to capture new business. But specifically for existing customers, you've got a wealth of information about them that other vendors don't. Like, what products they own, how long that they've been a customer, what they've spent with you over the years. You probably have customer service records about calls that they've made. I mean, that's a whole wealth of information that you can utilize to craft a personalization strategy. Obviously, if those, you could use intent signals in one of two ways, actually. You could use it as a way to see, hey, they're interested in a complementary solution that I have that I could put in front of them. But also, you could identify someone who might be a flight risk, right? If they're actively searching on information topics about the solution set that you're in, right? They might be saying, you're not good enough. What else is out there? And you can use that as a flag indicator to say, okay, we need to spend a little bit more time with this account. We need to put specific types of information in front of them so they know the full capabilities, right? And then you can use that as a cascade into a number of strategies. Are they using the product? When was the last time that they logged in? Do we want to get them to drive them to log into the product again based off of what your solution is? So again, the fact that they're an existing customer gives you a wealth of opportunity to take that conversation, personalize it, craft it, and really, commit to them as that strategic strategic partner, and not just a vendor looking to sell them, another product.
Okay, perfect. So unfortunately, that is all the time we have today. So I cannot take any more questions. But again, we will make sure to answer everyone's questions via email after the session. So just keep an eye on your inboxes over the next couple of days. And that's a wrap. Sean, thank you so much for such an informative session. And to our attendees, I appreciate the time you took to join us today. Thank you. I hope I'll see you all in a little bit, as deals are not won at the finish line. Why early stages matter most kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks again, everyone. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.